Hello everyone. As promised, bringing this Kaggle competition to you. At the point where you almost got a feet wet with the Data 650 course. You all got the assignment one out of your way. So perfect time to get on board with the competition. So we are all very excited to bring this competition to you, a platform that is very well known around the world. So this competition is based on a very simple data set. So this is a very publicly known platform. Um, it is presented to you in a format that will challenge you a bit. It will make you work independently, as you should be at this point. Um, and at this point where in your degree or a certification in data analytics, as and it's also um, in that it's a very powerful platform. It's also considered as a very de facto standard for data analytics and data science competitions globally, and it is also now owned by Google. um, you'll also be this is a platform that many data scientists are using, many data science practitioners have been using it. So you'll be working around with many data scientists around the world. You'll also be now part of this elite group of institutions who are using this particular platform. Like as you can see here, right from University of California, Berkeley, um, Columbia, Cornell, Oxford, University of Toronto, so long and Cornell, so along with all these different universities. UMGC is also one of the universities now who's kind of using this particular platform, and so now we can really take advantage of this platform to bring this competition to you. Okay, so with that, let's just dive right into what this competition is all about, how you can take advantage of it, and how this is all set up for you.
Okay, so this is the competition page, and the URL of this competition page has been shared with you in the same posting or email that this video is being sent out to you, right? Um, so it's using this URL. You can come to this web page. However, until you log in or create a login on this website, you will not able to move forward. So as you see here, there is a sign in button that you would have to click and create an account for yourself. And couple of things here to make a note of. One, you're not going to share this email with anybody outside your class. You're also going to create a login account that is going to mention your name clearly. So your first name, your last name. Do not use your, your pets' names or other names that you have in mind, other special names, but use your first and last name as you have used in the UMUC roster. And the reason for this is to ensure that we clearly understand who's logging in and posting all the submissions. At the same time, when this you have won the competition, or you're in the top three, top five, you are going to be recognized, right? So it's very important here. Okay, so there are multiple tabs on this page, as you can see. So once you've established a login, if you don't have one, you would come to this page. Actually, you would be going straight to the rules tab, where you would be asked to accept the rules. Now, if you have a login already established here before and have been using the Kaggle website, then you may still continue to use that login, but remember to make sure that your first name and last name shows up correctly. um, and if you are building a new one, then I just mentioned to you that you would want to kind of create one that is pretty legitimate, and we know that we know the first name and the last name. Now, once you log in using um, your login information, you would come in here and you would first hit the and you go to the rules tab where you'll be asked to accept certain rules, right? So rule number one, and of course I'm not going to go through the entire rules page here. I would ask you to kind of explore each of these tabs in more details, but to give you some idea of some of the basic rules, rule number one, the model building process would have to be using the data that's provided to you through this competition. What that means is you would be creating a model using the car's train CSV file, and during the model building process you may choose to use that cars test.csv. And then once you are satisfied with the model that you've created, you would create a final submission file using the car's final prediction CSV file that has been provided to you. So this is the prediction that you have to kind of provide as part of your submission file, which is going to be another submission CSV file that you'll create and submit on the website. There should be only one account per participant. Mention that there's no teaming that's going to be allowed here. You're going to be There's no private sharing outside of this team. There's no team mergers allowed. The team limit is, of course, since there's no team members that you could have in your team, the team size is just going to be one, meaning just you who would be doing all the work and the submission. The submission limits, you may submit a maximum of 10 entries per day, and you may select up to 5 final submissions for judging. So what that means is you can come into this website, you can do all what you're doing from the modeling perspective. You may create 5 or 8 or 10 submissions per day, and you can upload it and see what score you get. Now you may select at the end, when you're close to the final day of the submission, you may choose your own 5 best submissions, or you could let the system kind of select the 5 best for you. So it's up to you as to which submissions you would want to you want the system to select. Okay, but and if I were you, I would just leave it to default. But as I said, there's still a way for you to select your own. Next is the competition timeline. So the time that you would receive this video and the information, the competition has already started, right? So it starts on the day you receive this, and it goes on to, so the deadline would be a week before your semester ends. So remember that, a week before, not on the day of the semester. So you can start right away. You can put in as many submissions as you want till the end of the till a week before the semester ending. And there's a reason why we're doing that, and I'll kind of explain in a bit here as to why we're ending this a week before the semester ending. As far as the competition scoring goes, the submission file with 2 columns in there, the car ID and the class, is tested against 70%. So only 70% of your submission file is actually scored by the system, and it's kind of mentioned as part of the public leaderboard. And then the remaining 30% is tested on the last day. So the entire 100% is after the competition closes. It goes through the 100% of your file and comes up with a new scoring. So it's quite likely that the score that you see for your submission may not be the same after the competition ends. It may go higher or it may go lower depending on how the model you've created. But just to kind of have some interest and some suspension towards the end. Sorry, some interest and some suspense. I'm sorry, not mean suspension. I was thinking about the cars probably. So yeah, some interest and suspense towards the end that we would want to kind of have. So we only kind of considering the 70%. Then we can just continue to read through all the framework. Some of these verbiage is pretty standard for all Kaggle competitions, so you may just kind of read through it. What is going to be another important piece in here, besides all that is mentioned, is about the winners, right? So couple of things here. The winners will be decided during the last week of your semester, and the way it's decided, of course, the scores would be, and were displayed, and you pretty much know at the end who the winners are. But we go through one more validation, and that is at the end of the semester, the top, 3 or 5, or if you're tied with others, there could be more participants who would be asked for their final code, right? So they will be asked for your code. If you've used other than a language other than R or Python, let's say you've used a particular tool, you'll also be asked to submit the same files that you've used for building the model. So that's important. Once again, let me repeat, you'd be asked to submit after the competition ends your R or Python code that you've written for creation of the submission files on this platform that made you a winner, right? So that would be validated. If needed, we'd also be asking for the CSV files that you've used during this model creation. Okay. If it is something that tool that you've used, you'd be asked to submit the diagram, right? The model diagram for it. And so once you've done that, we'll kind of go through that validation, and you could be disqualified if you've used somebody else's submission in the past. You could be disqualified if you did not use the CSV file that were provided to you. So very important, guys. I mean, take this competition as a challenge, as a personal challenge, rather than just trying to win for the heck of it. Because, as I said, this is a very simple data set. It's a public data set that you could, also see it outside. Nothing that we've created, but we've definitely created this competition. We may try to make it a little interesting for you. We've tried to make you use this framework. So use it from that spirit. Use that spirit of a healthy competition, personal challenge, and you'll definitely earn rewards here, and the reward that you earn is a maximum of 3 points that could be added to your final score, which, as I mentioned earlier, it could be a difference between your C to a B grade, a B to A grade, or even just confirming your A grade. Okay, so explained what the winners are, what the winners obligations is. So now let's move on to the other tabs here. So once you've accepted the rules, you can go to this overview tab, which will give you an idea about the particular data set. We've just provided some details here as to where this data set is picked from, and also recognize the authors of this data set. So you can go through this in important information about what the data set is and what it contains, right? It gives you the information about some of the attributes as well over here, like it has the price, the buying price, the maintenance price, the number of doors, the person's capacity, and so on. So some of the important information about each car has been provided, along with whether what kind of a condition the car is, right? So that's going to be something that you would be coming up with as a prediction. um, it also gives you the evaluation. What is the evaluation? It's using the definitely the multi-class classification accuracy, and you just kind of shown the submission format here, which is the car ID and the class. Okay, and so based on that, it is going to go through the accuracy on your submission file, and it will be scored accordingly. The data set, once again, moving on to the other tab here. The data set is these files that are provided to you: the car's train.csv, which is a training set used for training the model; the car's test, the test set, which can be used for testing only during the training phase; There is a sample submission file that shows you the correct format of the submission file that should be created towards the end. And then finally, there's a car's final prediction file. This contains the car data set that should be used for final prediction. It's kind of saying that um, it's the whole data, all right. I mean, it's the data that is being is on hold. You let it kind of, you going through the training set, you've got the validation set, and then you get the whole set that is not shown to the model at all. Now you're throwing this to the model to see how your model, how it's been created, how it has been accurately testing the car's database or data set that has not been shown to the model. So right, and you would not have the accuracy known until you submit this file, right? And then of course the 100% would be known only at the end of the competition. So all right, so all that information about the data description, so there's some data was also in what all the data it contains, and the description of the data is all on this tab here. So I will let you explore this. Each file could be explored as to what it contains. You can click on each of the file names here and look at what the different columns it has, and also any other description that may be provided. Okay, and of course there's the download all tab that you can use to download all the files from this particular site here. um, Kernels, this is the tab we are not going to be using for the competition. It does not provide any kernels for you to test your code here or do anything of that sort, so we'll kind of avoid this. Discussion, you can use this tab for discussing amongst your peers, amongst your class members, but please not to kind of share the code here. The discussion should be purely very generic and nothing that could be that is revealing the code or the technique that you're using. Okay, this is the area. The next tab, leaderboard, is the area where you will come in here, and if you are signed in, it will also show you the submit button here where you can submit your file. It lets you browse the CSV file on your local machine, and then it accepts it and displays the score here. So as you can see here, we are on the public leaderboard, which is the tab that would remain open, and that would be kind of shown here, and that would have your submissions here. So we kind of, and I did one submission here, which is going to be the base, or the submission here, the average submission with the score of 0.22. So the higher the score, the better it is, but this is the kind of a base that has been set for you. So you may at least want to do better than this base, right? So this is just a simple submission file. So your submission file would show up here on this list along with the scores, and the folks that do better, they would be of course shown on the top here. So once again, this leaderboard is calculated with approximately 70% of the test data within the file, right? Doesn't mean that you have to only provide 70%. You would still provide all the rows that are required, but only 70% would be scored. Then at the end of the competition, when you come in here, the private leaderboard would be exposed and would show in all the final results, right? So your submissions, your best 5 submissions or your only submission would be scored in entirely and would be displayed here, right? And the final score would be displayed here. Okay, so with that, I believe we've kind of gone through all the tabs, all the information on this competition. So once again, good luck with the competition. Um, and start it early. You have 2 months to go almost, but I would still suggest you start early, start working on it, because you've got many other assignments to go, a lot of work to be done in this course. So and so this is something that you would want to keep doing it on the side and keep working on to do better and better. Okay. If there are any questions, this is going to be, this information is going to be provided to you in the interesting and important section of the classroom. So any questions, you can respond to that thread. But remember, there would not be more of a technical help, but just a general help to guide you to get through this competition. Okay. So good luck, and I look forward to seeing a lot of you participating in this competition and to your submissions as well. Okay, thank you.